Hello, Debbie here. Welcome back to Barossa Valley Crafts. Today we're going to make this card. So this is called a double diamond fold card. So I think originally, I did this one as a lesson years ago, but I have since seen it on YouTube by a lot of other people, but I just thought I'd rehash it and see how we go. So that's what it looks like from the front when it's folded. So it'll be, get my ruler, I think it's 6 by 6 when it's all folded closed, and it will pop out like that, just so it'll stand like that from the top is how it looks, and it will look like that from the front. And the back of it, you can put your greeting and sentiment on the back. So it's a fun card, and you don't need special tools to make this. And I'll show you. So here's the same thing again. Now you can have it that way, or you could have that as the front of your card. So it would look like that from the front, and then when it's open, it will look like that, and it would stand up like that. So you can have it that way as your front, or that as your front, and then just decorate it to suit what you want. Anyway, let's show you how I have made this one. So just move my camera. Here we go. So to start off with, the base card is 12 inches by 6 inches. So it's to be scored at 3 inches, 4.5 inches, 7.5 inches and 9 inches. So 3, 4.5, 7.5 and 9 inches. Now while you've got it on that side, at where are we? At 1.5 inches, put a little mark, and at 10.5 inches, put a little mark. Rotate it to the other side and do the same thing. So another one at 1.5 and 10.5. Then on the 6 inch side, put a little mark at 3 inches on one end and rotate it, and then do it again at the other end. So what we're going to do now is, I'll just pop that out of the way. Now obviously if you don't have a scoreboard, mark it all out with your pencil, and then using a ruler and a scoring tool you can score your lines. So what we're going to do now, where you've done those little marks, hang on, I'll just move this down a bit, here we go. From that little mark there at the 1.5 inch mark down to this 3 inch mark, we're going to just score a line. You can actually, this might be easier, you'll be able to see it better. We'll just draw some lines there, and then again from there down to the mark on the bottom of the card, and we'll rotate it and do the same there and there. Now what I've done, if I look on this side here, you can see I've actually drawn it out so you can see it's a bit easier to see. So what we're going to do now with your scoring tool, once you've drawn these lines, we're actually going to cut those out. So if you've got some scissors, just cut those lines that you've just drawn away. If you've got a guillotine, I'll show you with mine. If you have a guillotine, you can line them up with your marks on each end. So it's lined up with that top mark and the side mark, and trim it off. And again, line it up on the side mark and the bottom mark, and trim that off. So that's another way you can do it if you've got trimmers. If not, good old scissors. Okay, now from here, with a score tool and a ruler, going to score a line from the second score line in from your right down to the corner that you've just cut out. So we'll score a line down there, and then from the top corner down to the second score line corner, we'll score that again. Rotate it and do the same on the other end. So from the second score line down to the corner, and from the top corner down to the second score line corner. So you can see there, I've done it in pencil so you can see the score lines. Now when you know you've done it right, if they all cross over and meet in the middle there, because that's good. So that is your base card, and from there we're going to fold that back and burnish it, and then fold it back on the other line and burnish it. And then on the angled ones, we're going to go from that corner down to there, the other corner, opposite corner on the angle, and burnish. And again on the other one, and burnish it. And from there, it will just about fold in where it's meant to anyway. When you crease those, it will just bring itself in together, and that will do one fold. So we'll just repeat it on the other side. So fold it and burnish, fold again and burnish, and then on your angled lines and burnish, and the last one and burnish, and again as you push it, it will all just fold in where it's meant to go. So there's your base card. So that's the front and that's the back. Well, that's for this one that we're making anyway. We're going to have that as the back and this is the front. Okay, now I've got one here that I've started a little bit earlier. So what we next need to do is you need to cut out two pieces that are 5 3/4 by 2 5/8 of an inch. Bit of an odd size. So it's 14.6 centimetres by 6.7 centimetres. So that's your card. Then what you're going to do at the top, so if you flip it over, like I'm using this paper, so on the wrong side, do all this so that it doesn't, you don't see it when you make your card. So at the top and the bottom on the long side, try again. Top and bottom on the short edge, put a little mark at 1 3/8 of an inch at the top and the bottom, or 3.5 centimetres, and then put another little mark on the long edges at 2 3/4 inches or 7 centimetres. And you can see there I've drawn a diamond there by joining up all those lines. What we're going to do now is cut away these. So again, if you've got scissors, you can trim them up with scissors, or if you've got the guillotine, line up your little marks and cut it with your guillotine. Now don't throw away the pieces that you're cutting off, because we're going to use those. Okay, so now you would have done 2 of those. So that's what you've got now. By the way, the papers I'm using for this are from the Paper Boutique Winter Gnomes. So I've got so many of them, I thought I've got to start using some of these papers up. Okay, so there's that done. So you do that 2 times. Then you cut a piece 5 3/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches, and that will be for the front panel. So that's going to be this bit here. And then another piece that's just white, and that will go on the back as your sentiment in there. All right, and then I've just got some little bits and pieces to put on the front. So we'll put it together. Now I've already started just to save a bit of time. Okay, so now we'll put this piece in the front centre. So I'm using art glitter glue for this one. I either use this one or the Turbo Tacky glue. Usually I use this one when I'm doing the finer stuff because it's got the fine tip on it. Okay, so we'll pop that one in the middle. So of course, if you're using directional paper like I am, make sure you've got them the right way up. All right. And this one will go here. Just pop that into place. Oh, a bit of trouble there, try again. Can't get my fingers working properly. It's a bit cold today. Alrighty. Oh, I don't think I've done that one a bit crooked, but never mind. Now we'll work out, when you're putting these on, they will only go in certain spots. But before we stick these down, there we go. What we need to do is trim off, that's got to go that side and that's got to go that side. We need to trim off about 1/4 inch from each one so that they fit into the triangular spots a bit better. So about 1/4 inch, so do it obviously from the wide edge side. You can't cut it off from the pointy end because we need the point on there. Again, just make sure with directional paper you're doing the right ones. And 1/4 inch. So they should now fit into these little triangle bits like I've done on that side. So we'll just glue those into place. So while I'm gluing this, I'll just mention that I do have a couple of Facebook groups. One's called Cardmaking for Beginners and Beyond, and the other is called Barossa Valley Crafts. And if you'd like to join us there, you're more than welcome. Just send a request to join, and you can share your craft creations in the groups. It doesn't have to be what you've seen from my tutorials. It can be anything at all, and we're not limited to brands. So you can use any brand you like. And last one. There we go. So that's that. So just fold it all up again. Once it's been folded a few times, it'll go easy enough into where it's meant to go. Yeah, we'll flip it over and we'll pop this one in the back. So I will try and do more tutorials where you don't need all the specialised dies and cutting equipment and scoreboards, and although they, especially scoreboards, they're definitely worth having, and a cutting board. Just if you're doing a lot of card making especially, you'll find that it'll just make the scoring and that a lot easier, having the scoreboard as you saw me use earlier. But if you haven't got that, then as I said earlier, your ruler and a scoring tool does the same job. Just takes a bit longer, but that doesn't matter. And now I've got a little gnome here, so I've fussy cut him out of those papers, and so we're going to pop those on here. What I'm doing here is I'm just popping some double-sided foam adhesive, and I'll put that on the back so that it lifts it off the back of the card and it gives it a bit of dimension. So we'll remove the backing paper and we'll pop that one in that corner, and we'll put the little gnome down in the other corner. So again, I mean, obviously I'm doing this as a Christmas one, but you can do them to suit any occasion you like. And just use the papers that you've got. You don't have to use pattern paper. You can use just plain papers if you like. And that's it. So it's fairly quick and easy. So standing, that's it from the front and the back. Now if you want to, you can cut some more of these out and put them on the back. And with mine, so I haven't put anything in here, but if you wanted to put those in, just cut another one of these, cut it down the centre, and then that will fit in those spots there. Anyway, look, I hope you've enjoyed that, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up and do subscribe if you'd like to see more of my tutorials as they come up. And thank you for joining me. Bye.